What is going on, everyone? Captain Burley Slice reporting for duty. Hope everyone is doing well. If you notice the microphone, it is now being used correctly. Thankfully, someone commented on one of my videos letting me know that the way I had the microphone speaking into the side of it is not how this microphone is to be used. It's my wife's microphone. I was using it like my microphone on the boom on the gaming PC, the Audio Technica, which is a sad focused microphone. I didn't know. But anyway, have the microphone fixed. This may or may not sound better. Smoking some Orlick Golden Slice in the Peterson 80S. And just going to have a sit in the chat, man. It's been a 40-degree rainy day all day. It's been cold. And I've been like somewhat damp all day at work. You know what I mean? You can't, you have to go outside for this, that, and the other, and you just cannot stay dry. I didn't bring my rain jacket like I should have, and that's on me. But anyway, hope you're doing well. Had a co-worker start talking about the solar weather, the solar flare from the other day, and he was asking me some questions about it because I've mentioned stuff like that before, and he's like, hey, they said it could affect the power could go out, this, that, and the other. And was asking me if that was possible. I'm like, well, sure, it's possible. And then he was asking, how bad could one be? So I did a whole little expose at work on what I could come up with off the top of my head of EMPs and coronal mass ejections, stuff like the Carrington Event and the EMP Commission's report. I think Dr. Price headed that up in the early 2000s. So if you guys aren't aware, is that thunder? Na 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 na. Anyway, in the early 2000s, Congress put together a board of scientists to do a study on the effect of EMP, the effect of an EMP on America, and what would happen. And all the findings would hold true for a massive CME as well, coronal mass ejection. EMP is a low yield nuclear device that would be detonated high in the atmosphere. It would harm no one initially, but is designed in a way to produce RF energy in a way that would destroy electronics and electrical components and cascading failures and stuff, right? You can look all this up. I'm just going to ramble. Why not? If you don't like it, guys, turn it off. Thanks for stopping by. The U.S. has three main power grids: East Coast, West Coast, and Texas. It would take 2 to 3 EMPs to completely wipe out the U.S.'s power grid. And that would not be like wipe out for a week. That's like starting from scratch, essentially. The EMP Commission said 1 year after America did not have power, 90% of the population would be dead within 1 year. And that sounds extreme. That is extreme, but it is a symptom of our dependence on technology. And 20 years later, in 2025, we are more, not less, dependent on technology. Some resiliencies have been put in place. It was very slow coming, and it hasn't been a lot, but they've hardened certain aspects of the infrastructure. The big players, though, the big transformers made overseas, we don't have a big stockpile of those. EMP would still wipe us completely out. But yeah, coronal mass ejection. We were talking about the Carrington event, or at least I was telling my coworker about it. In the late 1800s, there was a giant solar flare. that hit the earth. And at the time, the only wires we had strung up was telegraph wires. Telegraph. And all the wires that we have, phone lines, power lines, it would act as a big antenna to catch all that RF energy. And at that time, in the late 1800s, the only thing we had was telegraph lines, and it caught that energy and sent it to each end, and it actually burned down some telegraph stations and stuff. It was very well documented. You can look it up. It's not hard to find. But the Carrington Event, and a lot of scientists, not all of them, but a lot, say we are overdue for another event such as that, something of that magnitude. If that happened today, it would be devastating beyond belief. Like I said, the experts, not me, say within 1 year, 90% of the U.S. population would be unalived. So it's insane. It's probably unlikely, but it does show you how fragile of a society we have built, really. I think the statistic is 90% of Americans live in a metropolitan area of 1 million or more people. So any metropolitan area such as that, you could consider on life support, right? It is a artificial situation where you need resources completely coming in from the outside to sustain it. You need waste being pumped out, water and electric in, plus foods and services continuously. That many people close together, and a lot of people say we are 9 meals away from going absolutely crazy. And that's believable. If my kids were starving to death, what would I do to make sure they did not? Would I lie? Would I kill? What would a man do to feed his children when you have millions of people stacked up on top of each other in very close proximity, and there's very little resources to go around? You would see the absolute worst of human nature on full display. And so yeah, I had a discussion. The guy was asking me at work about that today, and that's stuff I've looked into a lot back in the day. I'm very much aware of. Me being a ham radio operator, I keep an eye on solar weather because that dictates the condition for the ionosphere, the outermost layer of the atmosphere, and how charged it is. And that comes into play with how radio signals bounce off the ionosphere. It's like a convex lens, and that's how you're able to use a ham radio to speak very far away. Uh, Myself, I made contact on the other side of the world, 6,000 plus miles, all the way into Russia. And that's the radio waves hitting the ionosphere, coming back down. In that case, 6,000 miles, it's probably hitting the ocean, coming back up, hitting the ionosphere again, making several of those to go completely around. But yeah, it's interesting. It's technical. It probably doesn't interest anyone. But solar flares, man, they're coming to get you. One of these days, I'm going to be able to have a normal cadence of conversation to the camera here and enjoy my pipe and be able to actually do it. I'll pull it off on a podcast. I pull it off on the lives. Here when I'm recording a video about myself, I never find that appropriate time to stop talking to hit the pipe, and it's very difficult for me to keep it going. So I guess it's a skill set. It's something you learn, right? Some of you guys do it masterfully, and I'll keep working on it. Just like I'll keep working on my setup. Just like my microphone was pointing in the wrong direction. It's part of life is self-improvement. Yeah, yeah. My wife was telling me when we move, we can set up a background and stuff. Yeah, have a cigar humidors and bourbon collection and pipe tobacco in the background. Maybe a stripper pole or two. I mean, just one will do then. But anyway, guys, just a little ramble. I was going to throw that out about coronal mass ejections and about EMP and see what's everyone's thoughts. What do you guys know about this? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever heard about it? Have you ever looked it up? Have you ever considered what would happen if we experienced one of these things? Um, I know I have my views on it and thoughts on it, and I've considered it for a very long time. But in the survival/preparedness matrix, right, the worse something is, the less likely it is to happen, typically. That being said, you do not want to let normalcy bias and cognitive dissonance absolutely run the show and dictate an actual evaluation of risk and risk assessment and stuff like that. So be aware, be in control of your own mind. Don't let someone else, uh, you know, influence reality, if you know what I'm saying. But thanks for stopping by. That was Captain Burley Slice's ramble of the night. I'm gonna get off here so I can enjoy this bowl, and I hope everyone has a blessed rest of their week. Thanks.